So I had the privilege of a chat with Matt, Irwin, and with Vahagan together. I'm sure you know who these gentlemen are, and I'll put a link to the channels in the description below. The first part of that chat is already up on Vahography. Again, link below. This is going to be a three-part series with Matt. In this, I ask Matt a bunch of questions. This is the first episode of the Chat with Matt series, where I ask Matt about the ecosystem that's building around the Z mount and what it means for your bank account if you're invested or thinking of getting invested in the Z system. Welcome to Chat with Matt. Enjoy the show. So, first question, Matt, and I want your opinion on it. Vagan, you too. Please jump in whenever you want to add something. So, TT Artisan, I just saw this post last night. They said that they're going to announce a 32mm f2.8 full frame autofocus lens for the Z mount. My question is, what's your thought on it from the perspective of the Z lens lineup, the support system that's building up, and sort of the mainstreaming of the Z mount? If I can say that, if you compare that to the E mount, how they have become sort of mainstream, everyone does stuff for them.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
is this a step? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, I had a little keyboard war with someone saying there's no third-party support for Z mount, and I'm like, I'm using third-party lenses. I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, if it's not Sigma or Tamron, it doesn't exist. Seems to be what's in some people's heads.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly my point. So I think it's fantastic that we've now. I mean, how many brands would there be? There's Pergear, there's Lauer, there's TT Artisan, there's Viltrox,
Venus Optics.
There's Venus. There's the one I just showed you over there, which was I can't remember what it's called. So I don't know. We've said 5, 6, maybe 7 manufacturers are now making lenses, and each month we're maybe getting another autofocus lens. So, what great. I mean,
their point is, if it's not autofocus, it's not a lens. But
yeah.
I kind of understand that. But now you have this TT Artisan.
Yeah.
And Vagan is rocking that Viltrox for the
Z50
for the APS-C mount.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, from a Viltrox perspective, how brilliant to create the only prime APS-C lens for Z mount. Like, that's so smart. Yeah. Even Nikon aren't doing it. So, look, I've heard a few things that perhaps, and I don't know if this is true, but perhaps that Nikon and Canon have both asked Sigma and Tamron to just wait and let them get started before they start doing it. It's surprising, and let's just look at the data, because you know how I'm a data-driven guy, as are you, frames. Canon is just about selling the same amount of mirrorless cameras now as Sony, right? I think they might even be about to surpass them. So why are there no Sigma or Tamron lenses for Canon? Because that's a massive market. So maybe it's true that they've said, give us a 3 or 4 year wait, and then you guys go crazy, because we know you will eventually. Because Canon's huge, and they're doing fine, right? So I think that's why we haven't seen those. And all of these other lenses are great. I mean, I've got to be honest with the viewers. I only buy first-party lenses myself, and there's a whole lot of reasons for that, which we can go into if you're interested in that. But and I've forgotten what I was going to say. Oh, that I've never owned a Sigma or a Tamron lens ever. So I don't know whether the Viltroxes, how they compare to a Sigma or Tamron lens. Do either of you guys have any experience with?
Well, I've owned a couple of Tamron. Actually, I'm filming this on a Tamron 35 1.4.
Yep.
They make wonderful lenses. This is one of Tamron's best. But the point is, I mean, the whole this entire discussion, if you just noticed, the response to the ZFC, a lot of people have come out and said, guys, Fuji is killing it. I agree. In the APS-C lineup, Nikon has nothing. But I don't agree, because between they have that.
Is that, which one's that one?
Oh, I think that's a kit lens.
Oh, that's the 16 to 50.
16 to 50.
Yeah. But even beyond the kit lens, they have now the 2028, the excellent 40 that you reviewed, and I'll put the link down below. And then you have 3 lenses from Viltrox. And then you get this TT Artisan saying they're going to do autofocus. It looks wonderful.
I like the way it looks. Yeah, I mean, we just have to wait to see how, because I have been sent some lenses. I won't name them, that are bad. Like they're optically bad, and you don't want to spend your money on it. So you just have to wait, and they're pretty much almost no name lenses. So we just have to wait and see. I don't know anything about this brand. Do you know anything about this brand? Have you?
TT Artisan are not much. I know they make. I think it's a Chinese brand. They make wonderful manual focus lenses.
Yes. Sorry, this is TT Artisan. These new lenses.
Yeah.
Is it? I hadn't committed that to memory. Yeah. Well, I think it should be good.
I was in Vegas.
Interestingly,
I was in Vegas. What? When was it? Frames? 2 months ago.
I think a couple of weeks back, right? No,
yeah, about 2 months ago.
About a month back. Yeah.
WPPI, Wedding Portrait Photography International, and Nikon wasn't there, but Canon was there, Sigma was there, and Tamron was there. So I asked them, hey, what about the Z mount? You guys got anything going? Well, not at this time. You know, they didn't have any information. Seems like they were on the same page, but they're doing stuff for Sony E and Fuji.
Yeah.
Do they go by market share, you think, Matt?
No, I genuinely look. What I've heard is that Nikon and Canon have asked them not to do it. They've asked them not to make lenses just so they can kind of get a foothold.
And that's what I thought.
Yeah. And whether it's true or not, I don't know. But just to repeat, Canon are selling as many mirrorless cameras now as Sony, to the best of my understanding, if not close.
About 30%. Yeah.
So from a market share perspective, it would make sense for Tamron and Sigma to make lenses for Canon, but they're not.
Yeah.
So why is that?
They're not, yeah.
I think the writing's on the wall. It's right there, the writing. They're just...
And when Fuji wants them to, because that's why Tamron has pitched in with a new zoom lens. I forgot the zoom range, but they're making one. Just announced it yesterday.
Well,
I think
the E mount and the X mount are both older. So and Sony opened the E mount, like they opened it from the start. So they really wanted third party support, and it was perhaps one reason that they were successful, at the start, was they just said, come on, everybody, come and play, and here are the protocols. Off you go. To the best of my understanding, Nikon and Canon have still never provided their protocols for their F and their what is it, F and EF mounts. So
let me ask you a question. Does that actually, as far as Nikon's perspective goes, does that actually hurt them or help them to be exclusive Z mount?
Sure. It's a business question. And I'll tell you the reason why I've always bought first party, and that is because I was in a camera store once, and let's say I was buying a $2,000 lens, and the Tamron lens was $1,500. Like it's like three-quarters the price. And the guy says to me, "Look, Nikon, they know their roadmap. They know what's ahead. They know what's going to be going on with their cameras. So do you want to future-proof yourself for an extra $500 or not?" And I'm like, okay, that's an argument. I'll make a decision. So, but that's my business decision as someone who buys gear, and then I want it to last 10 years. Like, that's kind of how long I want it to last before I go, I'm going to replace it. Like, I've been a photographer so long, I've had 4 70 to 200 2.8 lenses. That's just what happens when you've been doing this long. Does it harm them? I think it harms them on YouTube. I don't know whether it harms them in reality. And I just think it depends on what sort of photographer you are and what your budgets are, right? I mean, some people will say, I want a great lens, but I don't want to buy the Nikon one. And so then you've just... And so then you're just saying, well, do I want to, I don't know how much a lens is in India, but, what are the differences? What's the common difference between a third party Tamron or Sigma versus an OEM lens?
Well, I'll tell you what we've seen. We've seen already from a Z mount perspective. You see, when Z mount first came in, a lot of people who actually, and I'm adding to your point, a lot of people have actually said that, I have a lot of Tamron line with me and a lot of Sigma line with me, but this older generation Tamron Sigma, the lenses still work fine, but they were not working with the Z mount through the FTZ, right?
Sure.
And
Yep.
then everything is so software, you don't know when you get locked out, and that's a problem with the third
Yeah.
party.
Exactly.
Because if you are improving in terms of entire software infrastructure, if Nikon does this version 2 in the internal OS operating system in the camera, then those lenses can't be updated.
Indeed, I mean, with now firmware updates being more of a thing than they were in the DSLR days, it's totally true that they might break third-party lenses with, we might get firmware 2.0 at Christmas time, let's say, for the Z6 II and the Z7 II, and it might
Fingers
break.
crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed, and it might break some of these third-party lenses. So, but anyway, it's not really answering your question, Vahagan. It just depends on the individual. Some people build their kits from third-party lenses, and some people don't. And that's just a choice.
There might be some legalities involved too. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So does it hurt Nikon? I suppose the answer is yes, because that percentage of photographers who want to buy a Sigma or Tamron lens right now, they cannot buy a Z mount one. And there's a lot of people that hate the F to Z adapter. I don't know why. My experience with it is rock solid. And I
only
actually
when you
think
want to only when you want to switch, or to take it off the tripod, switch F mount to Z. That's annoying.
Yes, I agree. I agree. If you're working with a tripod, it is painful. Although someone pointed out a workaround, which is you buy the battery grips, and that works around it.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got to spend $500 to do that. But
this news overall is about the third party vendors seeing an opportunity in Nikon, and that tells us that the brand is growing, the system is growing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's extremely positive, and the fact that we've got so many choices, the fact that you can buy an 85mm Viltrox lens that's about half the price of the Nikon one, and look, it's not as good. I've looked at it, I've got it, but it's half the price. So
it's better than 50% of the Z mount lens, so you get more value for your money.
And it autofocuses.
That's right. So I mean, and so my question is, today, with us having those 5 or 6 manufacturers we've talked about in the Z mount, is it a problem now, Vahagan? Is it a problem now that there's no third-party support? Some would say there's no third-party zoom lenses, and I suppose that's because these current Chinese manufacturers maybe just are not technologically up to it. So, I think it would be easier to make a middle-of-the-road prime lens than it is to make a middle-of-the-road zoom lens. And
it's
of
probably
course,
more expensive.
Sigma and Tamron don't make middle-of-the-road lenses. From the best of my understanding, they make good lenses, very good lenses. A lot of them.
Sigma Art.
Well, they're amazing lenses. So, yeah, it hurts them, but again, I very quickly just fold back to I'm a professional. My job is to solve problems and make people happy. So I can't get a Tamron lens. How do I solve the problem? I don't spend 3 hours online complaining about no Tamron lenses. I just go solve the problem. That's it. And if that means I've got to spend $500 more because I'm getting the Z lens, then I just go work a little bit harder for a day. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be choosing or not choosing Z because there isn't a Tamron lens. To me, it's just choose Z because of the things that we've talked about in your episode, which everybody, you should go watch the other episode that the three of us have put together. Absolute internet gold, I tell you. But we talked about the fact that a camera is far more than specifications, and so I'm not going to buy a Z because there's no Sigma lenses. I just glaze over. Basically.
Yeah, nobody says that. I mean, they buy them because they're cheaper.
So overall,
to be honest with you,
it's a great news.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a great news, but at the same time, it doesn't make or break your decision in favor of the Z mount.
I actually think I reckon there are people that build their kits largely on third-party lenses, and I think every lens that gets added is a bonus. So
a bonus, yeah.
I mean, I love the fact that the lens you've got right there, Verhagen, is the Z50 Prime. You know, and that's a really. I've got the 23. I don't know where it is right now. It's a really good lens.
Oh, the one
It's a
on the
really good
camera?
lens. No, I don't have it on. No, but they sent me the 23 about a month ago. I did make a very first look short video about it. I've got a lot to review at the moment, but yeah, it's actually it's better than the full frame equivalent because the 23 becomes a 35. So the 23 is a better looking lens optically than the 35 full frame one. So it's a really good looking lens. I'm quite impressed by it. So it's actually it's a real genuine option, especially if you've got a ZFC or a Z50.
Are you talking about the Viltrox?
I'm talking about the Viltrox
23 1.8.
Yeah, that's right.
23 1.4. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, that one I have too. This one's a 56.
I don't know where it is. I'm sorry.
This one's a 56.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I have that lens for the Fuji mount. So I mean, you're right. I really like how the lens hood sort of fits the body, the lens. It's beautiful.
So,
So I'm gonna be
it's-
comparing it. I'm gonna be comparing it to my next review I'm working on is the Viltrox 35 full frame versus the Z35 1.8. They're both 1.8. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm working on that right now.
Awesome.
So
Yeah. So every
So
new
guys,
lens that comes out, it's a win. It's a win for Zed.
so whenever that comes out, guys, go and check Vagan's video.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Vagan. And wonderful lens reviews that you're doing right now. Love the stuff. So I just want to kind of keep it tight. I think we have response for you from you on that. I'll just move to the next very interesting. I think a lot of people are interested. I want to know if you have to say, if you have to talk about 2 or 3 the most inspiring or people who have really inspired you, or people, the photographers that have inspired you and the photographers that have influenced your work almost to the point of deciding what kind of work you do. Are there any, and who are they, and why so? Like, just comment it.
It's a great question, and I actually wanted to be a filmmaker first. That was my number one passion when I was.
So there you go, guys. Help me with a like and by subscribing. If you enjoyed the chat, it helps this channel reach out to more people like you who will benefit from watching this channel. In the next few episodes, we will talk about what shaped Matt's idea of photography, who and what inspired him as a creator, as a photographer, and it is super interesting to me. It was a great chat. So definitely do not miss that out. See you.